My name is Bob Chaput. I'm the author of a recently published book entitled Enterprise Cyber Risk Management as a Value Creator. And as the subtitle indicates, it's all about leveraging cybersecurity for a competitive advantage. An opportunity to give something back. At this point in my career, which I consider the fourth quarter of my career, it's time to do that, and it's a responsibility to do that. And what evolved over time as the EDP department, as it was often called, evolved into Management Information Services and Information Technology, Business Technology. As the CIO was invited to have a seat at the table, I observed a lot of changes during that time. What I feel is happening right now is a very analogous set of events for the role of the Chief Information Security Officer. I made it a vital goal of this book to, number one, help the CISOs and the boards and C-suite better understand one another, to help them better communicate, to help them better identify and manage their risk, and equally importantly, to better identify and leverage their cyber opportunities. Some of you may have seen this cartoon that's been circulating where the director, member of the board, goes to the little kid's table, taps the CISO on the shoulder and said, "It's time for you to come and sit at the big kids' table." They're now being asked to come to the table and think from a business point of view, think more architecturally, think about what can be done to leverage the cybersecurity program for a competitive advantage or for business enablement in a more general way in the organization. I'm the Executive Chairman of the board of a company called Clearwater Security, a leading cybersecurity, cyber risk management, managed services organization in the healthcare space. My book is not just about the healthcare industry. It's very, very broadly applicable across all of the national critical infrastructure sectors, if you will. In any event, evolving into that board role put me in a position, being an inveterate learner, to throw myself deeply into educational opportunities with the National Association of Corporate Directors, including the opportunity to study, sit for, and ultimately pass and earn the certification called NACDDC, Directorship Certification. That particular background and experience, combined with my experience as a CIO building enterprise cyber risk management programs, I believe has put me in a somewhat unique position to be able to share the combination of those perspectives to help CISOs, as I mentioned, along the lines that I just described. My main message in the book is that CISOs must connect with their executive teams and their boards in the areas where the C-suite and the board are typically focused. Number one is talent management. Number two is strategy, and number three is risk management, not in that particular order. It's not about the board getting involved in the multi-factor authentication solution you're going to put in place. It's not about the board deciding the EDR solution. It's not about controls. It's a much more strategic question. And if we zoom out, what it boils down to is the most important decision the board must make is how the organization perform enterprise cyber risk management. In terms of the details of what exactly is going to happen, who's going to do it, when are they going to do it, etc., that's going to be the responsibility of the management team. The big board question, the big board decision is going to be about how we're going to do this work. In the book, I talk a fair amount about three foundational building blocks for any enterprise cyber risk management program. Number one, you need to decide on a cyber risk management framework. I'm a huge advocate of the NIST approach and the NIST cybersecurity framework. The next practical foundational building block of your enterprise cyber risk management program is your ECRM process. Some of you are familiar with the National Institute of Standards and Technology, publication 800-39, which is an overarching document about risk management, and its subsidiary document 800-30, which is specifically about how you do risk assessment work. Number 3 is a maturity model. You can think about the framework as articulating what you're going to achieve in your enterprise cyber risk management program. The process is how you're going to go about doing that. And the maturity model as a mechanism to be in continuous process improvement mode. Other examples of best practices, and I articulate establishing enterprise cyber risk management governance. Who's going to make what decisions, how and when, as it relates to managing risk and leveraging opportunities. There's a matter of how are you going to build a strong education program around enterprise cyber risk management so that you create a culture that's focused on leveraging opportunities as much as managing the risk. There's a whole section that discusses guiding principles. Speaking of the National Association of Corporate Directors, over the years they've published continually improved and refined documents that articulate a principle-based approach to enterprise cyber risk management. Then there's the question of assuring the alignment of your business objectives. I should say, start with your cybersecurity and cyber risk management objectives with your business objectives. These are some of the best practices that I refer to. There are probably, in fact, there are a total of 10 of them that I discuss in some detail in the book. As we begin to pivot from a defense only, and don't get me wrong, we can't stop playing defense. As we pivot from a defense only approach to one that's focused on what are our cybersecurity opportunities, there are opportunities around increasing customer trust and brand loyalty, improving our social responsibility. Privacy, security, compliance go hand in hand with a strong ESG program. There are opportunities of driving revenue growth. There are terrific opportunities around lowering the cost of capital, given that the 3 major credit rating agencies today absolutely unequivocally consider cyber risk when they consider an organization's credit worthiness. And I go on to discuss a dozen of those. But here are some practical examples. One that comes to mind, top of mind, and I talk about in the book, Equifax. Unless you were on an interplanetary space mission for the last 10 years, you probably were aware that Equifax had a major breach. It resulted in, among other things, the board terminating the CEO and the CIO and a complete replacement and overhaul of their approach to cybersecurity. That resulted in their publication today of an annual security report. Can you imagine your organization doing something like that? The implication or the upshot or the benefit of that is to increase customer trust and brand loyalty, especially given what had happened to the organization. Another example, I'll provide this one, is leveraging regulatory compliance for competitive advantage. An organization called Riberio, who happens to work with Clearwater, had focused head on strengthening their compliance program so they could then prominently display and talk about in their business development and marketing efforts how strong, proactive, progressive their compliance program was, which is very important to their end customers, most of whom are healthcare covered entities. There are many other examples. I talk about them in the book as well. So I guess the summary or the punchline is this. By helping CISOs in their C-suites, in their boards, communicate more effectively around strategy and risk management. Remember, those are 2 of the 3 key responsibilities of the board. There's a terrific opportunity for managing risk while leveraging cyber opportunities. And that's the conversation I'm trying to stimulate. Helping organizations move from a defense, managing the downside only approach to one that's focused on business enablement, offense, and managing the upside related to their cyber opportunities. I hope you have an opportunity to pick up the book and enjoy it. And if you do, please say something favorable on one of the review platforms, including Amazon. And as the old Hertz commercial used to say, if you don't like it, tell me. If you like it, tell all of your friends. Thanks very much.